Get closer look, man, that walk is the same. They got no Susie ties, but they preach about my God. They got no hoop and holler, but they steady on their job. They want to go to meetings, but they sick of all the bigger. And they want to go to church, but they sick of all the hypocrites. I'm free from the darkness, free from sin, free to live life again. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. No more chains, no more sorrow. I'm free to live for tomorrow. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. I'm free from the darkness, free from sin, free to live life again. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. No more chains, no more sorrow. I'm free to live for tomorrow. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free.
You said things could only get better. I need it more than ever. They don't. Oh, you said things could only get better. I need it more than ever. They don't. How can I believe?
DK Puncho, what's your status on the apparatus? Cancel Kings in the house.
What's up, y'all?
What's going on, DK?
Good with y'all, man.
Oh, we got Hanley, Team Love. He inspired a whole study. And look at him. See how he turned his camera off?
Yo, I'm on the move, man. I'm driving. I can keep it on, but you just gonna see a bunch of lights passing.
I did what the who?
I said, I'm on the move, so if I keep it on, you're just gonna see a bunch of street lights moving.
Hey, he in a motorcycle sidecar right now, driving.
What do you mean by that?
Guys, this is overtime, so a little bit of a different format. Not like the usual men's Bible study. We hitting these topics and kind of letting our hair down a little bit. And today's topic is, why are women struggling? We're seeing a lot of issues out there. Maybe we can help them. Maybe they want to listen to us. The men that love them most, and we can get some resolution to some of these issues. What do you think, DK?
I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah, the good old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah.
Can you guys still hear me?
I can still hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
Just can't see you.
Loud and clear.
So let's go ahead and get this started. Real quick, as you guys start thinking about the topic, we're going to get the video going pretty soon here, but welcome to Overtime, guys. So overall, we're going to talk about a number of things, and we're going to kind of be guided in this conversation with Suzanne Vanker, who has a lot of commentary on these topics. DK, did you want to add anything before I started up?
Nah, we can still pray though, even though it's overtime. To open up.
Okay.
All right, Lord, we just thank you for this day. Thank you for letting us join again today, Lord. We ask that you guide our study even in this overtime, Lord, that we can come to resolutions, Lord, come to agreement, Lord, come to solutions. Lord, we just want to say that we love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
So we want to pull up this video and kind of get the game going here. I want to drop the link.
We got time for a testimony?
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, drop the link real quick though at Facebook.
Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, y'all. First, before I get into my testimony, I want to let y'all know this is my favorite show. I always tune in, except for yesterday because I got kind of jumbled up with the dates.
Okay.
So I'm in the car right now with a MiFi to let you know how much I'm down for that. I really appreciate what y'all do. I'm really sorry I missed it. How much I'm down for that. I really appreciate what y'all do. Can you hear me?
I think you got an echo going, man. Make sure you get that echo square.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You got an echo going, man. All right, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do my best.
All right. So while he's getting that figured out, we also got Keenan on the conference here. Am I echoing? Somebody's echoing. Everybody mute your mic unless you're talking. Hello?
I still hear an
you guys
echo.
hear me?
I still hear an echo.
DK, go ahead and drive for a second. I'm gonna see if I can figure out something on my end.
All right, I got you. Yeah, I think it was Pancho's mic because I'm not echoing anymore. Everybody can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So I didn't get to watch the video yet. So, but anyways, we could just talk about it. We always talk about this. Why women are struggling, but more I look at it, it's like I don't know, like I don't know if you guys, I have a daughter, I have granddaughters, and I see how, at least as me, like to me it'll always be my princesses, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna always, be on their side, put them first, but I'm gonna tell them like it is also, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's hard. It's hard for men and it's hard for women, but like I try to teach my daughter, to date the right men, but I let her, she chooses who she chooses, and sometimes it comes back and then just bites me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I got to deal with it. And I don't know why. I don't know why, especially young girls, are choosing, certain men. You know what I mean? I can't call it, and then and it bothers me. It's like there's a lot of good men. Like I've seen her leave good men for other men. It's not that the men weren't good. It just seems like just I don't know. They all look for the same type of man a lot of times. But what I mean, I don't know. It's tough. You know what I mean? Because I want her to be with someone who is a protector, provider, and she usually has no problem finding that, but she has a hard time finding, a prophet and a priest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was saying, protector providers it's crazy. Are really a dime a dozen. Not saying definitely protectors, but even providers. But for someone to have that total package, it might not be the person that you see on the media. It might not be the person that is known all through the streets. It's not going to be maybe the prom king or whatever. It might not be that person because they might not, they just might not have all those aspects. But I think, as Christian men as Christian women, like they really need to, sit back and look for that total package because I think that's what's going to change them. That's what's going to help them get better. That's going to make our family structure better. You know what I mean? Because it's hard when you come into a relationship and someone's been through that or has a baby to that, and then you got to come in and try to step in, and it's difficult. You know what I mean?
Well, we kind of talked about that before, and I want to throw this question to the panel here. We find that a lot of our girls, our nieces, our daughters, our cousins, aunties, maybe even mothers, they tend to choose men that are of low value. Do you guys think that they do that because those men are less likely to hold them accountable because they're low value also? Let's go ahead and throw it to Corey first, and then Keena, and then Hanley.
I wasn't even ready for that.
I'll pick up.
You need me to repeat the question, or Keena, you want to jump on it first?
Whoever Corey's done with.
I got one in the chamber, brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
first.
bro.
You still hear echo?
No, you're good.
I mean, I got a lot on my mind, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, can y'all hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Perfectly fine.
Good. So, yeah, when I was growing up, I had a couple of experiences where, I would hear it about me, or maybe I'd hear it about some other people that might have been close to me where, it was women who were like, maybe you're too good for me or something like that, something along those lines. And that's what I related to. And after getting to watch watch who they were, see who they became and everything, it is something that resonated with me after I grew up or after I was a lot older and could just, call a duck a duck. So I think that's hitting it on the spot, man. I think when we're young men, we just don't call it out as clearly as it could be called out or as it should be called out, where it says like, this person, even though they may be popular or even though they may be pretty or whatever it is that they've got, like, it makes it a little difficult for you to just call it out. But yeah, I think you hit it right on the spot, man. I think that ultimately some of those people are just low value and they know that they kind of need somebody that meets them, or maybe that they can exceed to try to kind of pull more out of.
That's a sad assessment. We hate to put women in a bad light like that. I don't think that society is even prepared to see women as being low value. saying those words sounds strange. But I'm of the opinion that, and I want to throw it to Corey and DK, and I think Hanley had to bounce out for a second. Is it possible that these women tend to choose these kind of men that don't have jobs, sleeping on their mom's, their mom's couch in the basement and all this other stuff? Are they choosing these men because these men don't have the ability to hold these women accountable because they're not doing anything themselves? What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I agree with that, but what I wanted to add to it is, and I was saying this to somebody today, this is like the real issue that I see. I think that women actually think that we want a boss chick, right? We want a girl that has everything going on. Like, these are the qualities that they try to have, and those aren't the qualities that we're looking for. You know what I mean? And that's where they run into a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? So they're looking for men who really are beneath them so they can be the provider. So they can be they need to feel like you need me. But the truth is, you know what I mean, I have a woman who needs me, and she works and she has a career. She has her money, but still I know that she needs me, and really I need her. You know what I mean? But in different ways. You know what I mean? I don't need her to provide for me. You know what I mean? And even though I provide for her, she really doesn't need me to provide for her.
Really?
But no, but I do provide for her. You know what I mean? She can do whatever with her money, but it's my job to take care of everything else. And that's how it should be. I don't think as men, we should be looking for women to take care of us. But the women have been growing up thinking that, hey, if I have a lot of money, I can have any man I want. You know what I mean? Because if you look, you see, media or movies, you see a big girl, she got all this money, or here's a perfect example. You know what I mean? When it's income tax time, right? And they about to get a lot of money. You see the skinny, strong dude over with the big fat Joe walking in the mall holding hands. You know what I mean? Because so when you young and you see that, you be like, okay, if I got money, then I can have any man I want, no matter how I look, no matter if I don't take care of myself.
Wow.
And shoot, the more kids I have, even better, because income tax time, I'm getting more money, so I can get any man I want.
Big girls winning out here, huh?
Yeah, but it's not just big girls. I'm saying girls with kids. I'm saying basically girls they feel like they don't have to do anything but have money. If they have money, they can get any man they want. You know what I mean? Of course, the income tax ones or you know what I mean, the low ones, but even the girls who maybe grew up seeing that, and maybe they look half decent, but their whole focus is, okay, let me get enough money so I can choose the man that I want. And that's backwards. It's backwards.
We're gonna let one more person comment on that, and then we're gonna get to the video and dissect some of these points by the author or the producer of this video. Anybody else want to jump in on that? Are women choosing low value men because those low value men don't hold them accountable?
I think it's the thing where you say, if I make more than you, I can control you, and that's the problem that we're running into. Like, if a woman makes more money than the man, that she doesn't let him run the household, she want to run the household.
That's
so
true.
Once you come across a man that, even if you make more than me, I'm still a man, I'm still gonna run this household, they don't want that man, and that's why they're struggling in certain situations.
So maybe an issue of control.
We got to fall back, women, and let us lead in certain situations, in all situations. And no matter how much they make, let us be men. They'll be more successful. They won't be struggling as much.
Facebook, one of our Facebook commenters says, it's men and women. The problem is pride on both sides. Scared to admit that we have issues. That being said, let's go ahead and go to the video, guys, and let's see what we can learn from this. This woman, she's a bit of an expert in this field. So let's see what we can glean from this knowledge. I'll be stopping it here and there. And if you guys want to add a comment and I'm not stopping it, just chime in.
Begin at the end. So let's begin at the end. The cultural pressure on women to consistently produce in the same way men do, under the guise that career success is more fulfilling than motherhood, and that being in the marketplace is the antidote to losing themselves as a wife and mother or being left high and dry in a divorce, needs to end.
So this is a fair use, by the way, fair use. So this is exactly what you were saying, DK. We have, and also you, Rob, we have women that are trying to go into relationships, approaching it like, I'm going to increase my income. I'm going to be successful when it comes to things of the world. And that's going to give me more leverage. But somehow it's not working out for women the same. Thoughts on that?
Yeah,
There's
one part.
also a
Oh, you good? Go ahead.
there's also a culture out here where uh women are expecting to get money from men, and maybe
Mm.
some of them are, right up front, and maybe some men are, because of the scammer culture that we have going on, some men that have these ill-gotten funds can placate these women, and they're looking for hard-working men to give them money up front, which is insane.
Well, that kind of goes to the overall point also. If you got a guy who's scamming, he's obviously not doing the right thing by God. He's not doing the right thing by the law. And as a member, a contributing member to society, what can he tell that woman that she's doing wrong? He's giving her fast money. She doesn't have to wait for a long-term investment in herself or in what he's giving her. And on top of that, this guy does not have the best moral fortitude to begin with. So what can he tell her to improve her life or tell her what to do? You see what I'm saying? I think that a lot of women are attracted. We got two sides of this coin. We got some women that are attracted to low value men, and they know that those men are not going to hold them accountable. And then we have another side of it also, where you have women who are trying to become the man that they want. But in doing that, they're burning themselves out and really burning the candle on both ends. What am I missing in that assessment, guys? As we get on with the video after this round of questions.
Yeah, real
And,
quick.
and before we go with that, the Facebook commenter says, a woman is not going to submit to a worthless man. I 99% agree with that. Most women are not interested in submitting to a man who's not doing greater than or equal to them. Period.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say, this is in Proverbs 5, right? Yeah, 5:18, right? So this is a valid point that she did say. You know, when the woman gets divorced and sometimes, get left high and dry, as she say. But I think God reminds us, right? It says, may your fountain be blessed and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. You know what I mean? So I think not all men, but some men, you figure once they get to a certain status, you know what I mean? So say the woman stay at home and she's having kid after kid, maybe she's not taking care of herself, right? And he's, climbing a success ladder. And then he finds somebody, who maybe not on his level, but, has the same mindset, is physically fit and, ends up younger and ends up leaving the woman high and dry. And I think that does happen, because, from our study last night, not being all in, you know what I mean? So we're not all in on our wife, or we're not all in on God, so we can take the gray area. We could take, hey, you know what? I'm just not happy anymore. So I'm going to go and move on to the next best thing. You know what I mean?
Well, the
And then,
fact of the matter is, and that may
but
be happening.
but
And I'll
what I'm
give
saying
you.
is, yeah, real quick. No, but I'm saying, but even a lot of preachers and stuff, you know what I mean, and pastors, kind of let that slide. You know what I mean? They be like, hey, it's your new season. You know what I mean? Go on to the next one. But it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? Really, we should, if you decide to make a vow before God, and if the woman doesn't break that vow, no matter what she ends up looking like, no matter, you shouldn't leave her just because you got here and she's still here. Do you agree with that?
I don't think on a success level, I don't agree. I mean, women are not interested in providing for men anyway. But I do
No.
think that as time goes on and women, I think that men underestimate how much women change. And I think that women underestimate how much men stay the same.
Sure.
And
I
because
agree.
of that, we find ourselves being wrapped around an axle. No one, and this is a men's kind of outlet, a men of God kind of outlet. We're not talking about the men who are a part of the 30% of married men who have sexless marriages. We're not talking about that. We don't even hear those men's voices. We're not talking about a situation where the woman, when she has a child, the husband becomes third, fourth priority in her life. We're not discussing any of those things in popular media. And whenever we hear about a man cheating, that's the beginning and the end of the story. No way in the world am I going to justify cheating, emotional affairs, or any of that stuff. But nobody's talking about a woman who's been with the man for 6 years and they've only had sex for 3 times in the last 6 years.
Yeah,
We
no, I mean,
need to
I
have a
agree with you.
comprehensive conversation, and I think that Suzanne Vinker is going to kind of show the side of what women are dealing with and how they get to the point where there's the sexless marriages. There's situations where there's a lack of connection between the men and the women, over time. Let's go ahead and continue with the video, unless you got anything else you want to add, DK.
Nah, I'm good. You good.
Okay, continuing on.
Quote, I'm exhausted every single day. My career is going great, but my heart is with my family. I feel weak and ashamed for thinking motherhood and housework is too much to keep up with a full-time job, and I'm suffering. To all the moms out there who are in the same boat, at some point we have to listen to our hearts and stop fighting nature just to meet the status quo. End quote. This is just one of countless emails and social media comments I read on a weekly basis as a relationship coach and a podcast host. And it's one of the saddest realities of life for women today. This woman and millions of others like her were never warned about what happens to women once they have children. At this stage of life, what most women, even the most staunch career women very often, wind up wanting is to nest or to slow down so they can focus on being a mother.
I think that's an important thing that we as men don't understand. We don't anticipate how much women change. We have this 50-50 egalitarian society that really believes that men and women are the same. But as men, we're surprised to see that our wives or our girlfriends don't have the same energy level, don't have the same capacity to deal with all the silly, emotional foolishness that's happening at work. They burn out easier. And then you get into a long-term relationship with a woman, and then you find that she's having a hard time dealing with the same things that we're dealing with, and we may have more grace in that. And a question for the panel is, have you guys been in situations where your woman is burning out and trying to do stuff that she promised that she would be able to do, and society has said that she was able to do?
I mean, I've been married twice, right? And I guess I didn't do it the right way, but I my wife's always had jobs, right? And if you're a man and you're a man of God and you want to be a protector and a provider, and you're connected, God bless. I didn't make all the best decisions when I was married at 19, but my wife's always had jobs, and even when I was married at 30, whatever it was, if your wife doesn't work, if there's a divorce, you will pay alimony.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
will
do you
pay
feel
child
that
support.
do you feel that the work environment made it more difficult for her to be the wife that you expected of her? Was she
My
burnt
work
out, and
environment,
this is an issue that she dealt with?
my work environment.
No, did her work environment burn her out, and she wasn't able to fulfill the social and the cultural obligations that women are expected to in a family?
Nah, I think most modern women want to work. You know what I mean? I don't know
I'm not
if
saying they
y'all
don't want to work. I'm saying after work, after school, after changing the diapers, is she able to be there as a wife for you?
yes.
So they were super women. He got lucky.
No, they weren't super women, but like, I mean, I've seen the women in my family and they're strong, and I had strong wives as well. You know what I mean? So like working didn't burn them out. My most recent ex-wife, when she was pregnant, she took some time off to because we were able to, thank God, financially we were able to, stay afloat while she was when she was pregnant. So she wanted to stay home, and we decided that it was cool to stay home. But I mean, it's nice to have a extra income in the house. You know what I mean? So like, if I'm taking care of the mortgage, you're taking care of the light bill, maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe you guys see it differently. I like a partner who is
You're like a partner with a strong back, making sure she's working hard.
yes, Yeah, that too. But if she needs a break, just like if I need a break, she should be able to see like, hey, maybe you need to take a couple of days off from work, or you know what I mean? Because the man is gonna have to work, right? As men, we're gonna have to work in order to provide.
But it's
Most
optional
And
for
if
the
you're,
women. Is it optional for the women?
unless we hit the
it, it
Powerball.
depends. It depends
On that,
because it all depends. Because it,
I
it, it
speak
could
on
be
that.
it could be sticky. Some women are resentful because they're at home, because their man wants them to
Resentful?
be at home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Because it sounds like, Team Love is saying these women love. He's kind of going against what Suzanne Vinker is saying. He's saying these women love working. They have boundless amounts of energy. They got an S on their chest. Anybody else?
I
I
disagree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brother, you got lucky both times. I'm guessing
I disagree.
because
100%. I got lucky. I did a good job messing them up, messing that up.
Hey, he found some girls from 1836, man. I'm trying to tell you.
yeah, because
Nah,
women out
one
here,
from Brooklyn, one from Jersey.
because women out here now, if they have a job when they get home from work, they're going to be tired. They're going to be even if they do cook dinner, when they get done cooking dinner, they get done eating, they're going to be tired. They're not going to have time to do their wifely duties after 9 o'clock. They're not going to have time. They're not going to be. They're going to be tired for that.
Mm.
Yeah, and you know what? Like for me, me and my wife work together. So, but she could come to work whenever she wants to. If she doesn't want to come in, she stays home and rests. If she wants to come in and work, she comes in and work, and like it just works for us. So if she's tired, she'll stay home. If she decides to come in, she's not as tired because she doesn't have to work every day. And I think women might like the flexibility of that. It definitely works great for us.
Perfect.
Now, DK, what if your wife had to work as hard as you did? What do you think would be the outcome of your relationship?
I think it'll still be good because there was a time
So she from
when
1836 also?
no, I'm just saying there was a time where she was working Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday when we
Mhm.
first got together. She got her degree first and she had, a better job that was like full time on the weekend and we worked Monday through Friday. But then when I was able to get where I could be at, then now she can take off more while I do more the heavy lifting.
Excellent. Anybody
But it
else want
worked
to
out.
comment on that? Yeah,
Yeah.
we got some super women over here. That's good to hear.
So I've seen it from a few different positions, and I would say like I'm married to one of those super women, but I've seen it from the perspective of like where it was just that my wife was working. It was a team thing. Her and I both were working. I've seen it, 4 pregnancies, right? I've seen it when COVID took her away from work,
Mm.
and I've seen it where we are now, like kind of in like this post-COVID era. So, out of those situations, um, the way she responded on the complete wifely side, they changed. They changed a lot, and it was kind of what the lady's talking about when she was working. It was more of a well, not say headbutting, but it was like it was tougher when
Mm.
uh
When she
when
was
we're in
working,
the
it was
COVID
tougher.
time. Say again.
When she was working, it was tougher.
Yeah, it was tougher when she was working. When we were in the COVID time, where she was pulled away from work and at the house with the kids, it was me out working, making the money, paying the bills, and it was better, but she was mentally drained because of being
Mm.
at home with the kids all day. Like, it's not even like that when they're in school. It's never really been like that for us. Having older kids, multiple kids, and having to be at home with them all day and
Do you
homeschool them
feel
basically.
do you feel if there were a role reversal, you would be tired as much as she was?
Do you, are you asking me, do I think I would be if it was
Hmm.
the case?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be tired, but I mean, we know.
You
Like
don't think you
somebody on here said after 9 o'clock though, you get a lot of energy. So
interesting. So you're saying that you wouldn't be as tired as your wife if you guys swapped roles. And I think that's what Suzanne Vinker is pointing to. Men and women are on different algorithms when it comes down to the energy they can put into a relationship.
yeah,
Facebook user here says the lack of mutual respect is very present and it's by design. Arrogance and pride are based on status or money is what created the problem. Would love some clarification on what that means. Let's go back to the video. Let's see if anybody has anything else.
I wanted to speak on that. I didn't get a chance to speak on that.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so from the beginning of what he was saying, man, marriages. A lot of women come into marriages looking for comfortability, for an easier life, for to not have to work as hard as they was working. And ain't nobody speaking on this, and it's
Yeah.
crazy because my marriage is crazy right now. It's been crazy. You know, me and you have our conversations, and I'm not really going to get too deep into that. But a lot of women, when it comes to marriage, want comfortability. They want to be able to be like, okay, I don't have to work as hard, or my husband takes care of this. I don't have to do as much. I've never really, women tired of paying bills when they married. I feel like if they wanted to pay bills by themselves, they'd stay by themselves. They get with men to have an easier life. I've never seen I have a lot of married friends. I've never seen one person say, "Oh, my wife is doing this far as the bill. She's doing that." I haven't experienced that. I
Hmm.
haven't experienced that. I pray the one day experience it, but I'm not going to experience in this marriage. But I feel like this one marriage for me is enough for me. I put 14 years in. I don't want to go through that process again. And y'all got to remember too, the the generation of women from your generation versus my generation are two different types of women. There's not really no real women left no more. Everybody wants comfortability. Everybody wants the lavish lifestyle, the nice house, the nice car, all of that. The women are not like women no more. It's all about what you got, stability that you could bring into a woman's life nowadays. My wife don't even put in on nothing, and I always tell her, you know, if we come together and do together, we'll have more. And it just seemed like, no, you make more money than me, so you should do this and you should do that. You're the man. See, she trying to live her life based off of the stature of how her grandma and grandpa lived. You know, back in those days, the man paid the bills and the woman took care of the household. But we living in a different day and age. Everything is fluctuating. The food price, the rent prices everywhere is going sky high. So everything is changing. We're living in a time right now where men and women have to come together to provide a household for the kids.
But you're
Everything is
saying,
expensive.
women aren't interested in playing their part, right?
No, never.
That boy is good.
Not
What's the saying, gentlemen?
Responsibility.
Idle hands. Maybe somebody can help me with the quote. Idle hands.
something
Out
about
of
the
mind.
devil, right?
Out of
Yeah.
mind. It's devil's workshop.
Now, Corey,
Yeah.
when Albert was talking on this topic, you were shaking your head, especially when he started talking about women are not interested in providing 50-50 for a household. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or is your wife?
I mean,
Is she
I
within
agree.
earshot of you?
I agree. I agree. I mean, most, most women, when most women get married, I mean, they're looking for security, and security for a woman is different from security for a man, right? So when they talk about security, they're talking about exactly what he was referring to, being able to pick and choose when they go to work, if they have to go to work, or if they're at work and somebody pisses them off, they can walk off the job and it's nothing because they never think their husband got the bills, and then I'll find another job 6 months from now, right? That's a different type of security.
But hold on, Corey. If a man had a hard time at work and the boss looked at him wrong and he decides to take 6 months off for his mental health, couldn't he do that? And most women in our modern day society be okay with that?
Absolutely not.
You telling me that there's two different standards, and that maybe why women are struggling because they can't fall back on a situation that allows them to just take a time off?
I wouldn't say that's the reason why women are struggling, but I'm just saying that's the double standard of life. There's certain things that men can do that women can't do, and there's certain things that women do that men can't do. It just falls in line with certain roles.
Amen.
Speak. Go.
Okay, let's keep rocking, guys.
But due to cultural conditioning, they do everything in their power to submerge this part of their identity for two reasons. One, they've been groomed to believe they have no value if they're not earning money. That's a big one. And two, for many women, they are their family's primary breadwinner, and they feel trapped. They don't think it's possible to stop working, if only temporarily, the way most mothers have throughout history. In other words, modern married women have become both mom and dad all rolled into one.
So it sounds like she's saying because women are focused on their careers and they also want to have families. The, like I said before, they're burning the candle at both ends, and that's causing a significant amount of struggle in our sisters, our cousins, our nieces, our daughters, our aunties. This is why we see some of them are burnt out. And then keep in mind, most of the people, most of the women, especially in our community, are single. You throw a man on top of this, she's already working, 60 hours a week. She's probably got 1.8 kids, and on top of all that, now she has to maintain a man. It can be a lot on a lot of our women, and that may be the root for a lot of the struggling. Before we move on with the rest of the video, did anybody want to add to that?
I don't know what you mean. Now she got to maintain a man. I don't
Well,
understand that. That's
you
like
think about our community
understandable.
specifically. You got a lot of the women who are working full-time jobs. A large portion of them, 75% of Black women, have children out of wedlock, right?
That's true.
So they have a child, they're working, they're having the same issues that their married female counterparts are having. They're getting burnt out at their job. You go on any social media platform or just talk to somebody that you know that's a female, and they complaining about having to work. I'm just being honest here. Now, those women are single, right, Albert? You throw a man on top of that. So now she has to be sweet to that man. She got to be submissive. She got to stay in shape. She got to be effeminate. She has to hold him in high esteem, and she has to maintain his ego. And she got 2 kids and working at Dollar Tree, getting yelled at every day. Come on, man.
It's like a circus
Yeah,
act.
yeah, but that man is bringing something to the table. Oh, go ahead, brother. I'm
If
sorry.
working at Dollar Tree, I'm not talking to you in the first place.
Who did what to wear?
That's first off. But at the same time, if a good man comes into her life, she's not maintaining him. He's helping her maintain that household. So now there's a lot of stuff that she don't have to do anymore. Yes, she has to keep my ego and be nice to me, but I also have to be nice to her also. It's a two-way street. And you're gonna when you have a good man coming into your life or any woman, you're gonna have to do less. You're not gonna have to do as much as you had to do when you was a single mother. That's flat out.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I also want to caveat that with many women, especially in modern times, both Christian and otherwise, they feel maintaining and having a man in their life is a burden. Having to deal with our ego, having to deal with the foolishness that we bring into their life. They really feel that a man is an additional portion of emotional labor, and they liken us to children.
So
You know what it really is?
like,
Oh, go ahead.
if she feel like that, then she don't need a man.
Do
She still
y'all
need a
agree with
man.
that? DK,
I think
you
that's a
agree with that?
valid
We
point.
think they need to be
That's
She
single?
still need a man. She just don't know how bad she need a man.
Oh Lord.
That's just lack of accountability at the end of the
You know,
day. If you're gonna be in a relationship with somebody, you gotta. That's a job. Being a parent, is a job. Going to work is a job. You don't get to have the benefits of a relationship without having to deal with everything that comes with it.
I think that the center of gravity for the issue why a lot of women in this scenario are struggling is they're doing all that stuff. They're maintaining the children. They're maintaining the man, even though we feel we don't need any maintenance on this panel. And they're working full time, something that they haven't been doing as much as their grandmothers were doing or their aunties were doing. So these women are working just as hard as men, and they're coming home and having to deal with a lot of the things that are domestic, that are expected to be feminine duties. And they have to do whatever they have to do. They have to give you your conjugal visits,
But hold on.
So women
Let
really
me
feel
speak
like
on that.
that's
Let
a
me
bit
speak
too
on
much.
that. Hold
Yeah.
on. A woman's duties is her duties. Listen, a woman don't have to have a man. You should keep your house clean. Period. Whether you got a man or you don't got a man, your house should be clean. That goes for men too. Period. If you
But
got
what
your
if she
own,
having to
because
pick
there's
up your
single fathers
drawers?
out here. She
She
ain't
got
gonna
to
have to
pick up
pick up
your
my
drawers. She
drawers.
got to do 2 times the
See,
amount of dishes.
hold on.
Women are
If you just
tired and
see,
they
I just
struggling.
gave you both. Hold on, I just gave you both. I said if a man is living, listen, if a person is not a clean person, they just not a clean person. They say you don't know somebody until you live with them. Period. But I'm gonna tell you this: our problem with these women, man, is that they're broken. So many relationships bring so much mental and physical abuse, right? That every time another man gets with that woman, he has to go through the process of rebuilding somebody else's breakdown.
I get you.
I'm still going through it 14 years later. And all I've ever asked my wife, I said, listen, I'm going to take care of majority of everything. But if I need you to have stuff at certain times so I can elevate us, just like when I started my own trucking company, I need you to step up to the plate and do small, minor things. But when it comes to the first thing that come out your mouth is you make more money, then like something else y'all said that was a perfect and valid point. Anytime my wife went almost half of the year last year not working. The year before that, she went months without working. She just started back working probably about 5 months ago. Anytime she has a problem on them jobs, she walks right out. Like, oh, it don't matter. My husband got this.
Everybody, here's Chris.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
It hurts as a man because I've never had nobody teach me how to be a husband. I've never had nobody teach me how to be a parent. But like I get on the phone and ask you things. You said a lot of one thing from the first time I started doing this with you guys. I don't know if the other guys, your other friends remember me. I pay attention to detail and y'all make a lot of valid points, but y'all be missing a lot of things. It could be a lot of powerful relationships out here in the world with men and women. But it ain't even men don't have ego. Women have ego. Men have pride. Men have pride. Women have ego. And I'm gonna give you the breakdown. I always tell my people this.
Make it quick. Make it quick. You monologuing.
All right. Men are dogs. Women are cats. That's why women are better cheated than men. When women pee and boo boo, they cover it up. When a man do it, like a dog do it, we do it in the open. That's why we always get caught.
That's true.
What do you mean by that?
Book comment says
So what do you mean by that?
men can't be sensitive. Men can't be tired. Men can't complain. Men have to provide and protect when things get difficult. We meet and overcome all obstacles in our path. God, man, in his image and likeness. If he didn't give up, neither should we. And I think the brother is trying to say that what Keena was saying, and also what Albert was saying, and Corey, men are different from women. We don't have the luxury of people feeling sorry for us. If we go to the job and somebody says that, the TPS report wasn't done on time, we can't just quit for 6 months.
My man got 2 jobs.
Fall apart.
You know what? And you know what? If you got a marriage and God is in it, if you got a marriage and God is in it, then y'all should be able to communicate, right? Maybe the wife wants to work. Some women want to work. We're talking about modern day women here.
We're gonna put them to work, right?
There's not too many women.
My marriage is failing.
There's not too many women out here that wanna. There's not too many women out here that want to do that old school, stay at home, barefoot and pregnant.
But then Suzanne is saying that this is wearing them out. But let's jump back into the
real quick, Punch. What I want to say is I think that the main issue is order, right? We know that God's a God of order, right? So when it comes to, like, of course, man's the head, the women, all of that, but I'm not even talking about that order, even just the order of priorities, right? So us as a family unit, are we putting our family first? Like, is it that important? Is our family that important, or is it more important that our status is more important than our family? Our success is more important than our family. And when those things get out of order, that's when you find, I gotta work 2 jobs, you gotta work 2 jobs, we all gotta do this, and we don't have no time, right? And really, time is wealth, but we end up spending all our time at work and trying to impress others, when in reality, if we would put our family first, we wouldn't have to do so much things. But we care so much what other people think, so we find ourselves just going too hard. Yeah.
Facebook user says communication is key, definitely key. All right, let's see what she has to say in the next point here.
And so begins their identity crisis. As Paula Reinhardt writes at The Federalist, quote, "Here is a common conversation heard in the intimacy of a therapist's office, one that's grown in frequency. The patient is anxious and depressed, often in her mid to late 30s. She's juggled home and work and children for quite some time. Maybe there's a toddler who refuses to sleep, or a teenager who struggles mightily. Day after day, the demands pile up. Her work is never done. She craves more relaxed time with her kids, but how can that happen? Depression or lack of motivation come because physically a woman can't replenish the dopamine and serotonin that her body used to produce more easily. If she burns the candle at both ends with 12-hour days and lost sleep, it will show up as anxiety. Those are the physical realities of life in the estrogen-rich female body.
She's saying that it's a biological thing, that this estrogen-rich body is much different than us men who have testosterone. It's going to burn the women out. Hanley is saying that these women are super women. We got 1836, warriors, Amazonian warriors over here. Some of the other guys are saying that these ladies don't have that same kind of tenacity.
Man,
Is it possible that our ladies are getting burnt out because they are doing too much? Is it because of us? Is it because of them? Is it society? What's going on here, guys?
Why is the world and society so comfortable with making excuses for women all the time? I don't see nobody making excuses for men all the time. Oh, it's estrogen. It's this. A woman will outsex any man in this world any day of the week. I guarantee you.
I don't know about that. I think that I don't know about that.
Last time I checked, last time I checked was there's no bill collectors out here checking to see if you're masculine or feminine or female, male. Them bills just got to get paid. So you got to work as a team. If you're married, you got to work as a team. If your wife, communication is key, like the Facebook user said. If your wife is tired of her job, hey, I want to go back to school. This is the plan. I'm going to not work for 6 months. I need you to hold it down for 6 months. But in 2023, most women are contributing to their household somehow, somewhere.
That's true. But at the same time, Hanley, is that also what's causing so many of our women to be worn out? It seems like that's what she's trying to get at, is this additional responsibility of taking on this masculine burden of performance of being providers. That's the thing that's causing our women to struggle so much. That's causing women to get burnt out. That's the reason why women are so hypersensitive about being with a man that doesn't make as much money as she does or more, because she's at the same time, she still only wants to contribute 20% to the household. So women are getting burnt out. They may be making more money, but it's not the same kind of quality of life that they're getting while they're making the money as men are. What am I missing in that assessment, Corey? And then we'll throw it back to Keena.
I mean, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Men and women are different, right? Men thrive off of and feel a sense of accomplishment with going out there working and getting on the job and coming home and you providing and you taking care of the kids and the family and you got the roof over their head and you got decent cars with gas in it and all that stuff. A woman can do that up to a certain point. Normally, once kids, come into the equation, and then all of that's out the window. So to your point, if they are going to contribute, they may want to only do 20%. She may have a little side job, whatever, a little online business or whatever, but she don't want to go out there and work on nobody's job like that. She want to be at home with the kids. And if that's the case, right? If you're really falling into these traditional roles where she's maintaining the household and he's going out and he's bringing home the bacon, then she has to at some point be willing to live within the confines of what he's able to afford, right? Because a lot of times,
that flies in the face of what Albert was saying, because these women, whether they're working and putting 80% into the house or 20%, they still want a lifestyle.
Right. Still want the lifestyle, right? So if it's 50-50 initially, let's say it's $150,000.
It'll never be 50-50.
I mean, initially before you get into the marriage and all the kids and all that stuff. But once you really settle down into the relationship, the amount of money that she wants to contribute to that family recedes drastically, right? So that lowers the amount of money that the household has to live off of. And if she wants to fall into that role and be that feminine woman and just take care of the household, then she needs to be comfortable living within the boundaries or the finances that the man is able to bring to the table.
Whether it's especially if it's a budget based
Amen, brother.
household.
Amen.
Now, Keena, what do you think? You're seeing this in living color. You're a married man. Are you seeing these issues pop up? No, we'll make sure nobody sees this video. You're good.
No. It's completely biological, man. Because what I was thinking about is like most people in a relationship, they're dating. It's kind of like before kids come into the equation. It's okay for a man and a woman to both be working. Like you, even if you're in an established relationship, you just don't have kids yet. You're like both people are typically okay working, and a woman should still be okay fulfilling her wifely duty or womanly duties, whatever the case may be. If that's where if that's where you are in your relationship. But what happens is when you throw a baby into the mix, then it changes everything. They literally, I'm pretty sure everybody on this phone has went through women in pregnancy. I mean, we couldn't name all the problems that come up from pregnancy alone, and it affects women. We're just there, as bystanders. We got to deal with it indirectly, and that sometimes changes them permanently. And then it changes the perspective, right? Like it's no more like, hey, you work, I work, we working jointly or whatever, and we go out on dates or whatever, and sometimes we cook or whatever the case. No, it's more like, all right, we're more at home. There's another person that we have to care for. It's primarily on the women, right? I don't see many guys knocking the court's doors down to get full custody from the mother, or even split custody. Like when you come into these issues, a lot of guys are okay with weekend custody. Like because this is kind of how we are biologically programmed, and most women are not okay with just weekend or half custody.
And
They're
now that
like,
he put it
no,
like
like,
that, that is true. I agree with you on that. And now that you
yeah,
said it, because I was trying to get an understanding when she was saying like it's biological with women. I really wasn't understanding it, but when you put that the way you just put that, now I can understand that because I know a lot of men is comfortable with I'll just do the weekends. I don't want
yeah,
no
yeah,
split custody because I
yeah,
I got to do my man thing. But
yeah.
I take my split custody. I don't need that
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah. If you know you got with a solid one and it didn't work, like most men are gonna take split custody and be okay with that. They're just not gonna fight that hard. But this is the point that I'm trying to drill down is that when we get to the end of the conversation where this psychologist is talking about it, or coach is talking about it, most women are gonna choose it every single time. They're like, the baby is stressing them out, work is stressing them out. If they're not in a relationship, that's also stressing them out because they got to work harder, they got to do more alone for the baby and all these things. But they're gonna choose it every time. This is like the bane of their anxiety, and they're gonna choose it every single time. Guys, we don't want to do that. We do have a very severe understanding of duty, and men are dutiful, and a lot of women in that sense they're more like preference. But when it comes to like throwing a baby in the mix, women are extremely dutiful, even to a fault to themselves, because just like we're talking about it right now, a lot of women will let having a baby, maybe having to work, going through a breakup or anything, like any combination of those things, run them like into anxiety and completely out of relationships.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. Do you? We're gonna. I want you guys to think about this, and we're gonna play the next clip. Do you think it's society that's pushing women to take on all these responsibilities, or is it men? Here we go with the next portion of the clip, here, guys.
Unquote. What makes matters worse is when women learn that their husbands share the same experience, which creates huge conflict in the marriage. After all, she and her husband are both earning and parenting, so why is her man able to let go or to compartmentalize his life in a way that she cannot?
This is kind of what you were saying, Keena, where men are able to go focus on making the money, and they don't have that same, okay, the kids are going to be okay kind of mentality. I'm really truncating that, but the men are focused on something completely different, right?
Right.
Because what happens to men when they become fathers is markedly different from what happens to women when they become mothers. In fact, it might help to start using these terms again, mother and father, or husband and wife, rather than the more politically correct term partner, so people can begin to appreciate the deeply disparate natures of women and men.
Now, is this not what you guys keep saying, that men
like
and
that
women are different? But we're teaching young men that men and women are the same. They should be able to work 50 hours a week just like we do. They should be able to come home and take care of the kids just like we would. They should be able to take care of the domestic responsibilities around the home. Are we setting up young men? Are we setting up our women by having this 50-50 mentality and that men and women are the same? Is that part of what the media is doing to kind of put us and our women at a disadvantage and cause them to struggle? I want to throw that question to DK first, and then over to Albert. Oh, I'm sorry, Rob is back. DK is not around.
Okay.
Rob, what you
Yeah, I
got?
definitely want to speak on this too. What you just said.
So go ahead, brother. You can speak on it first. I get the back after the end.
Okay. How can I say this with being politically correct?
As
For
long as you
black
don't
men,
cuss,
no, I ain't gonna
we
cuss.
good.
I ain't gotta cuss. For us, I'm gonna speak for the black man in America. A system was built and broke and put in place to break our homes. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? To push our
Yep.
families apart. So I can say when it comes to black men, it's different from any race of men. You know, because
Hmm.
I have a lot of real close Mexicans in my life, and I have a few Puerto Ricans in my life, and they are more family oriented. You know what I'm saying? From birth, from
Hmm.
children. They 8, 9 of them live in one house to make it cheaper so everybody could build themselves faster to be more independent. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So they have the
Yep.
mindset to build each other. We don't have that mindset because our house was so broken through the system of America, through the government and everything. Because black women couldn't get assistance back when I was a child if a black man lived in the home. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, now you got a system that's broke down because people don't understand the difference between a daughter and a son. It's more important for a son to have his father, and it's more important for a daughter to have her mother. And I
Hmm.
learned this by saying because it's a lot of things about a woman's body that we'll never truly understand because we're not a woman. And it's
Hmm.
more about even if you didn't have a father, like I had a dad. My dad has passed away, rest his soul. Great man. A lot of people could say my dad was an alcoholic, but he was the greatest dad ever to me. And I could say right now today, he's the true reason why I'm sitting in the successful position that I'm sitting in because he taught me what it was to be a man. And I think the most important thing he taught me, it's not bad for a man to have emotion. And nowadays, a man, like y'all said, a man's supposed to be strong. A man is not supposed to, you know what I'm saying? That's how the world look at us. But we come from a broken system as black men. So
Yeah.
how can we even we at a standstill with that topic right there because we come from a broken system.
So you're saying
How
because
many of
our system is quote unquote, I don't think that the system is necessarily
y'all
broken. I
taught
think that
yourself how to be good dads?
well,
You don't father your son how your father fathered you, do you?
yeah. Well, I think that it's
Do
boiled
you?
down to choices. I think that
Uh,
so we're saying that the struggle that women are going through is because of a systemic issue. And that
mm,
goes back to my question, and you did answer to an extent,
mhm.
where you're saying that there's a
It
system
is.
that was put in place, even though I don't
It is.
100% agree with that, that calls women to want to be a part of a different system than what God gave us, and not being partners, but being wife and husband.
No, I'm just saying women don't know how to be their own women. A lot of women are basing their life off of how they was raised by their mother. Who was to say the way we was raised was the right way? Why can't we be our own individual people and live our life the way we feel it should be lived?
Well, I think there's always going to be obligations from society and culture. You look at those Hispanic individuals you talked about. They have a
And they strong.
long history of culture of a paternal system, and we as people of color, Black people specifically, we've thrown that out the window. And we're trying something brand new that's never been tried in recent history. We're trying to do whatever we want and hoping to get the same results as people over in Korea, as the people that are over in Hispanic cultures, and it ain't working. And on top of that, we're seeing the bad end of that affecting our women and causing them to struggle more than ever, and they're being burnt out because at the same time, in my opinion, it's not popular to be a submissive
I
housewife, whatever that
I feel
means.
like you're defending the women to a point that they don't deserve to be defended because
Gentlemen, sorry to interrupt you, brother. I have two daughters, one 20, one about to be 24 years old. They both work. Now, that's natural as an adult. When you're taking care of yourself, before you meet that protector provider, uh,
mhm,
uh, that man that comes into your life, then y'all should come together and build. We're living in
mhm,
2023, y'all. Like if you're a young woman,
Put
you
them to
have
work.
to work
that's true.
before you meet that man, and you already have a work ethic. So that's where communication comes in. You
Okay.
communicate, like, hey, I don't what. like let's talk about our income. This is what I bring to the.
I look at it like this. You don't have to be overly submissive. You know what? We a team. I'm the point guard though. I'm the point guard. I'm bringing the ball up.
It's Rob.
And when I'm bringing the ball up, it's like, okay, you sit there. You can be the point guard. I mean, you can be the power forward, whatever. I'm not passing to you until it's time for me to be passing to you. You can be a team player on my team, and we'll get a lot further, and we can build wealth a lot sooner. You want to work? Okay, fine and dandy, but we're going to go ahead and make sure this house is taken care of while we build our wealth. We can build wealth together, way that I can build by myself, or you can build it by yourself. So if you're not a part of it.
I agree with that, Rob, but I do see that there's a problem where like a lot of us as guys, we may completely understand that, like from the position we've been in, from maybe even literally playing team sports or whatever the case. Like I said, we're dutiful, man. We understand the duty that needs to be done, but women is not. I just don't think it's as plentiful. I'm gonna say that I don't think it's as plentiful for women to understand that team aspect or just being dutiful about the team aspect.
Yeah, I don't think that women are interested in going 50-50 when it comes down to provision and providing. I don't think they could care less. I think society is telling them that in order to get the security of life, you need to become the man that you want. Conversely, I think that same kind of mentality is burning these women out. They're burning. She said the exact same phrase I said, burning the candle at both ends. So we're pushing women, and I get what Hanley is saying. 75% of women in our society are working. They're working wives, working whatever. I get that. But are they working to the same capacity as the men in their lives? No, most of them aren't. So I think that we're pushing women to work like men, to take on the masculine burden of performance in society. And I frankly believe that it's wearing them out. It's gotten to the point where they can't take on that responsibility. I'm not saying they can't, but it's difficult for them to take on that responsibility of doing that work week, of taking care of those kids. And again, like I said before, managing the expectations of having a husband or a boyfriend. I think that based off what we're seeing in society, why women are struggling and why this woman is making so much money off of this is because we're putting women into a masculine burden of performance and it's wearing them out. Let's go ahead and jump back into the video, guys, and see what she said.
So before you play the video, going back to the original question, do you believe that it is like a societal issue or like this systemic, or do you think that it is like us men putting this burden of performance on women?
I think that it's mostly society and less of men. I don't think that most men are interested in women making a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that society and media is telling women that you can't depend on a man. That's one narrative. And the second narrative is you need to be independent because you need to become the man that you want. And women really feel that makes them more attractive by becoming more like a man. It's only the recent conversations like this that have woken women up to say, hey, I'm not looking for a woman who does the same thing I do. I'm not looking for a woman to be a provider, protector, problem solver, prophet, and priest. That's what I'm supposed to do. So you have media telling women you're going to get security by working and performing like a man. And then when they do that, they get into a relationship. I don't think the men are sitting there cracking the whip. There are some that are saying, and hand them beat up on you a little bit. Some men are saying, yeah, you need to be out there working. This is 1830. Get to work.
I got you. I got one in the chamber for you. It's mostly society's fault. It's mostly society's fault. In 2023, going on 2024, we are in the most feminist society we've ever been in. That is the expectation.
Man wanting to be women.
And you guys, and to be honest, Hanley, what's happening is we're in a feminist society. The black community is a matriarchy. We're not even a patriarchy. It's not even ran by men. So what's happening? We're in this feminist society, and women are saying we're going to do it on our own. But when you try to get these women on an equal playing field with marriage and relationships, they're like, I'm not going to, number one, accept you unless you're doing better than me, which is okay for women to think like that. But at the same time, they don't have any of the skills it takes to be a woman that's valuable to a man. They just have the skills that make a man valuable to a woman. And then when they bring those skills into a basic domestic relationship, they're burning themselves out because they're not meant to move in all this masculine energy. Am I losing my mind here, Corey? Or What am I missing?
You hitting right on the head. I mean, you got all of these women operating in the space that men operate in, and it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's not right. I mean, that's really it.
Let me say a thing or two real quick.
I got one for you. If I'm making pizza, right? I'm out here as a single man, and I know the promise that God has put on my heart. I know my wife is out there. It's looking for that wife. It's been the hardest thing I've ever had to do in this society. Now, let's say I'm over here making pizza all by myself, right? And I meet a woman who's a potential wife who's been making pizza herself. Now we've become one. Now you don't got to make the whole pizza yourself. Just need the dough. I'll take care of the rest.
Right.
But you're gonna contribute into this relationship somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make pizza, y'all.
I agree with what you're saying.
That's a good one.
I'm tracking what you're saying. All I'm saying is, if we have, because people have two kind of jobs. You have the job that God has given you, and the job that you're just good at, right? You could be a truck driver, but you could also be a pastor. You get what I'm saying? I think that a lot of men are confusing a woman's purpose with her passion, and we're trying to pull women over into our world, and they're not. I'm having a hard time explaining this. Bottom line, we're trying to make pizza, like you said. I don't think women should be making pizza. I think they need to be helping us make pizza, period. You see what I'm saying? Women were made to be, and this is the answer. The answer is in scriptures. The Bible says very bodaciously, man was not made for the benefit of women, but women were made for the benefit of man.
Yeah, and you see that.
That's
You
a
see that,
powerful
though.
statement.
You see that.
So she's over here making dough. She's over here, with her shea butter company. She's doing all this stuff. How's that benefiting the purpose that God has given you to make pizza? None of it makes a difference.
Text me that script. Text me that.
We'll do. Somebody find it. We'll post it. So all I'm saying is we're trying to in this the mentality we have in this feminist world, we're trying to fool ourselves into thinking that women have God-given purposes the exact same way that men have God-given purposes.
No, I don't see that. Yeah.
But I want to say this: a woman's purpose is not making her version of shea butter or starting up a skincare line, but a woman's purpose is her man. You know,
and her family.
So that's where the mistake is. We're trying to equate men with women, even when it comes down to a godly purpose. But women were not meant to take on that burden of being a priest. In the Bible, a woman couldn't be a priest, right? In the Bible, and this is a very powerful thing I want you guys to think about. I've studied this extensively, and I hope you guys can prove me wrong. The only time that God gave women authority and he allowed them to do things and to lead was when men were not available to do it. Other than that, he took the bottom of the barrel men and made them into heroes. He took a stuttering Moses. Think about this. This shows you how important it is for us to not put these burdens on women. You got 8 men that came. You got 8 people that came off of Noah's Ark, right? You had Noah, his wife, and his 3 sons and their 3 wives. God, it's only 8 people on the earth, y'all. God only spoke to the men and gave them the new covenant for the new world. Come on, now it's just 4 more people over here. He gave this covenant to men because we're the ones who are going to accept the accountability. Women can make all this money. They can have all this education. They can do all these things. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be held accountable like their men are. So what does it benefit a man to have a woman that's doing all these things, burning herself out because she's chasing after her 5th master's degree and her PhD. At the same time, she's working at a job she hates, making 6 figures. And she wants to be the leader of the family, or at least co-lead, but she's not being held accountable for any of those results. Guess who is? You are.
I tell my wife all the time, you want to be the man and it ain't working.
But when something goes wrong, whose fault is it?
Mine.
There you go.
which almost always show up once babies come along.
You talked about this, Keena.
In case you think I'm exaggerating my case, consider these Pew Research findings from earlier this year. Quote, the vast majority of mothers, 88%, say being a parent is the most or one of the most important aspects of who they are as a person, with about a third saying it's the most important. While a similarly large share of fathers, 85%, say that being a parent ranks among the most important aspects of who they are less likely than mothers to say it is the most important.
Men are focused on their purpose and getting things done. Women are focused on people and nurturing. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? What she's trying to say also is we're trying to reprogram women into thinking that you need to be like men. You need to have a pizza that you're making. What's your ministry? What's your job, your career? Women aren't even happy with that. 88% of them are happy with a family and having a kid and a husband. But we're trying to and that's why these women are struggling so much. They're getting burnt out because they're in a situation where they're having to be like men, and in their DNA, it's not even what they want to do. Help me out, Steve Love.
I was gonna say, man, I was gonna cut in like from what we were already saying. It's definitely a system. It's a systemic thing to me. It's very deep. Punch, I sent you a text message with this small screenshot that I found a while back. If you can pull it up, take a look at it. If it's something you think worthy of talking about. But basically, what it was is talking about how our economy has just grown over the last 40 years. So someone was mentioning earlier, like we're at a point where we really need each other. Like society is making it so that you need a two income household. So it's wearing down on us. We as a Black community, Black culture, we have a whole lot of other systemic issues wearing down on us. Who was that? Albert was saying that earlier. There's so much other stuff wearing down on us, and it's got our communities in a really crazy and messed up place.
Brother, now this is what I will acknowledge. Albert's going to love this too, this conspiracy thing, but it's true. We've created an environment, and I'm going to pull that text up that you sent me if I can figure it out. We've created an environment where women have to work. This is what Team Love was also talking about too. And what that's creating is a hyper consumer society.
It is.
That's the only reason why you see a situation where your dad and your mom have to work equally as hard. We look at our fathers, our great uncles, our grandparents. Grandma was usually at home. She may have had a part-time job just because she wanted to get out the house and she wanted to buy herself whatever she needed to buy herself. But for the most part, granddaddy had it covered. Society noticed during World War II that when the men were gone, they were able to get another portion of society to work as hard or as close to as hard as men. And guess what that means? That's another echelon of society that you can now tax.
Yep.
So now, previously, you had a job. Let's say that you're a data analyst in 1930, and it's only men doing that job. Let's say primarily men, and the average salary is just $30 an hour. You flood the market with women, and now it's 40% women, 60% men. Why do I gotta pay you $30 an hour again? Let's bump that down to 15. The conspiracy behind all this is we're turning our wives, our aunties, our sisters into workhorses, and we're putting a masculine burden of performance on them, and we dressed it up in feminism and said, hey, women need to have the right to work. They need to have the right to have their own money. All this was done, in my opinion, and I'm sure Albert's too, so that women can pay taxes and they can compete for men's jobs and lower their wages.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so difficult for entry-level jobs. You get what I'm saying. I don't want to go too far down that hole.
I know what you
Let me tack on. So let me tack on to that. Like everything you just said sounds 100% on to me. And the text that I sent you, it had the numbers. It had some like pretty. They look like studied numbers, right? So I think it went back to the 70s or the 80s as far as like what people were paying as far as mortgages and rents. And it was saying something like back then, 40 to 50 years ago, the average salary was spending about 18% of their money on a mortgage and less on rent, like maybe like 11 to 15% on rent, right? And that would have been like rolling through the transition of getting women into the workforce and getting women into the workforce as they are now, and getting women into college, like going through college programs like they are now. So like from then where we're at like between 11 to 18% till now, it's we're spending about twice as much on like mortgages and rent, right? So it's like most people's average income, they're spending about 35% of their income on mortgage and rent both. So it's like from what Punch was just talking about, where we were kind of in this society where it was expectation for having men to work and be providers and be able to provide for a 2-parent household with multiple children. Now we're at this point where society has pushed us to where that's it right there, right? Society has pushed us to where you have to have both people working, and they're like, okay, since we got 2 people in households working now, we're gonna double the price of the houses.
Look at that. Wow, that's crazy.
And you're looking at the home prices. You're saying that $48,000 home in 1980 is now $436,000.
10 times as much. 10 times as much.
Same house. They just put up some
and we're wondering why our women are burning themselves out and struggling, because they're trying to. Again, I don't like to get into conspiracy theory, but there is some validity to this. We've pushed women into becoming a part of the workforce, not because we cared about women's rights and all this. We wanted them to be workhorses so they can pay more taxes and lower wages.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And that's probably, maybe possibly a part of the reason why our women are struggling, because they're not, like she said before, 88% of women are happier whenever they're doing things with their families, with their children. And then what about the other 20%? Yeah, they're out there, they're G.I. Jane. But the other 80% are out there. You got these sisters on TikTok talking about, why do I gotta work? This is a scam. They are wearing these women to the bone. And it's all fun and games when you can look cute and you're 20 years old and wear a Hillary Clinton business suit. But by the time you're 43,
yeah, it's not. Yeah,
and
they don't
there's
know about
25
that.
degrees outside, and you going out there trying to do your job. It ain't cute.
Yeah, they're not worried about that duty then. But look. So then add the college aspect onto it, right?
Oh my goodness!
I hear like a general number. Yeah, college debt, and the general number I hear normally is like seven females every male in college or something along those lines.
60-40, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's a ton of women going to college that we know like if they want to have a family, they are gonna be like that. That's their what is it? That's what they're here for. They're gonna be there for their family. So like that college degree gets put on the back burner eventually.
Well, so even the whole college process for everyone is a bit of a scam. There are some benefits to it. I would definitely admit that. But most of our women are not picking jobs that are a part of science, technology, engineering, and math. Those are the college degrees that make money.
Yep. Women
are choosing college degrees that have to do with underwater basket weaving.
Hey, tech is even getting big right now.
Liberal arts and social work.
Ain't no money in that. You get all this debt from a social work degree, and you're getting paid $45,000 to $50,000 a year.
I just told my daughter to get out. My daughter just went to school for that, and I just told her that was a bad move.
I hate to say it, unless that's her passion, it could be a waste of time.
Unless she wants to be a businesswoman, like a business owner, she can make a lot of money. But like we're talking about now, it's gonna be tough on the family side.
But we're talking about women struggling.
Yeah,
and
it's part of the struggle.
And there's other aspects to this, right? To kind of expand on your conspiracy theory, I don't think it is. I think it's true. How that disproportionately affects our community.
Disproportionately
versus the white community, right?
Sure.
And when I say that, right, when you show that graph, how houses have gotten significantly more expensive.
It's crazy.
Right. For our community, we don't have that generational wealth that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation.
From those houses.
from
from
those
that
houses,
stolen land.
right? Or owning the land or any of that stuff that accumulates time, right? So
Yeah.
literally getting it out the mud within like the last 50 to 60 years. And we're just accumulating all of this debt. And you're not seeing that in other communities.
Well, you heard Tyler Perry recently say that Black women are making more money than Black men and that they're more educated. More educated. But even with Black
I
women
agree
being
with
more
the more
educated, like I
educated.
said, they got a degree in underwater basket weaving, liberal arts. Black men doing trades and whatever we're doing, we're still making more money than the average Black
That's
woman.
true.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Like
Yeah.
Black women make, I think,
Tyler Perry
$35,000
really said that.
a year on average. Yeah, he said that, and
That's
he
because he
told women
want to
that they
be a
need to
woman.
settle and have men that, at a minimum, can pay the light bill as long as they're compatible.
Wow.
And that puts women into this mentality on the other side that they have to struggle, and a lot of women feel that they're more superior to us because they've been fed this narrative that they're making more money than us,
Or
which
that
is
they
not
smarter
true,
than us.
right? But but check it out. If you have a underwater basket weaving degree from Texas A&M, and the guy you're trying to date is a trucker, even though he makes $40,000 more than you,
He's less. Yeah. Yeah.
You're dating down.
Because we are raising our women to be men.
Man.
Who did that?
Man.
Was that Keenan? All right, let's jump back in the video. We cooking over here, guys. If I can figure out how to get it, I think I shut it down. These are all good points. Go ahead, bro.
Let him cook.
All right, let's go.
24% say this. The takeaway isn't that fathers love their children any less than mothers do. It's that fathers feel viscerally about a unique and additional responsibility they have outside of parenting.
Fair use.
And that is to provide. Men know their wives do most of the heavy lifting, both physically and emotionally, with their children. And so in exchange, most feel their financial contribution is the way to ease his wife's burden.
We do what we do best, right?
He's doing something useful in a new arena in which he feels rather helpless. This isn't to suggest that traditional gender roles should be set in stone. Most mothers return to work, either part-time or full-time, when their children are older, and fathers certainly have a crucial role to play at home. The point is that there's an innate and overriding drive in most women and in most men that emerges once babies come along, and they are dramatically different from one another.
She's basically saying that the women tend to be more orientated towards taking care of the kids. The men, because it's just not something that we feel is a priority for our purpose, we just want to work harder and bring more money so that she can nest and make this a better place for the kid.
I agree.
Yep. Yep.
Unfortunately, young women today weren't raised to recognize and incorporate into their life plans the fact that their bodies do something that men's don't. And men weren't raised to become providers, since women insisted they didn't need a man. They do need a man if they get married. Women are the sex that gets pregnant, the sex that gives birth, the sex that breastfeeds, and the sex that's designed to nurture babies in a unique and primal way.
So she's kind of trailing off and talking about how we're dealing with this issue with women are struggling, but at the same time, like we just discussed, women are told by media that they need to become the men that they want and that they need to make money. That'll fix all the problems, just like men think that'll fix all the problems whenever there's children involved. But the women are underestimating the biological factor of I have to nurse this child, I have to rear this child, I have to give birth to this child. She needs a man to be there for that process. So it's like we're really putting a lot on women, and the women are being brainwashed. And I got to blame the older women for this, because they're causing the struggle for these younger girls. These women are having children at younger ages, in many cases, especially in our community. They have no idea about how much they're going to need a man in this situation. But they've been told that men are emotional labor, just another child to take care of. They haven't been told that men are going to be the providers, protectors. If you find a good one, he's going to be a problem solver. He's going to be a prophet. He's going to be a priest. In addition to that, men are just better workhorses. We'll sit out there and we'll work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and we'll do that for 50 years until we die. Probably not even complain about it. But you can't. Women aren't necessarily going to be doing that, but they're being put in that position to do that, and they're struggling with the biological imperative of being a woman and dealing with children, and the masculine burden that they're taking on by trying to be like men to make up for not having a man in the house. Am I missing something here, guys?
Not one of us on this line wants a woman who's not working. I'm 45
He's
years
still trying
young.
to put him in slavery.
I'm 45 years young, gentlemen. Any woman that I'm meeting these days, if she's not working and she's been waiting on me to take care of her, that's not anybody I'm interested in. The woman coming into my life has to have something going on.
You think she has to have it? Now, would you rather that she be a great nurturing woman, or you rather that she be a great worker? If you had to choose one.
I'd rather she be a great nurturing woman. But a great nurturing woman also is there to support you. I made a list the other day, gentlemen. What I want, what I need from a woman. And that list is very short. It's 4 things that I've got so far.
A strong back,
on it.
A pair of New Balances to work in all day at the hospital.
No, peace. These are my requirements, right? These are my requirements. Peace, support, loyalty, and we gotta have some time in the bedroom. 4 things. That's all I need right now.
But how's she gonna have time in the bedroom when she working a 10-hour shift at the chicken strip?
That's the thing. Money is not on that list because most women are not looking to contribute money into their relationship.
So why are you requiring that so much of them?
I'm not. I got 4 things on my list: peace, support, loyalty, and make sure I'm taken care of in the bedroom. That's it. 4 things.
So you're saying that you want her to work just so that to mean that she's an industrious person. She don't have to pay 50-50 of the bills. Yeah. She just have to have a work ethic. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Exactly. Before I met you, what were you doing? I mean, at 45, I'm not gonna meet an 18-year-old and make her my wife.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing before I met you?
I was gonna ask that question earlier. I was gonna ask that question earlier too. Talking about I think Punch, when you were saying talking about the purpose that women have, and women being in their purpose before they get into a relationship. I was wondering that. So what's the expectation of what they were doing beforehand, before they get into their relationship?
So you guys are both pointing to that same idea. Biblically and culturally, that we've expected of women, at least for the last 4,000 or 5,000 years, up until the last 50, is that a woman should be under the authority of her man. It should be her husband, if not her husband, her father, if not her father, her pastor. That hasn't changed from most cultures even to this day. Only in the last 50 or so years have we expected women to go out and be these other things. We expect women to have the same kind of ambition and spiritual purpose as men. But the Bible was clear. You're not supposed to be a woman that's teaching men. So that limits you to 50% of the population right there in your ministry. On top of that, you're like I said before, very seldom, if ever, is God specifically calling women. I've analyzed this. In the times that God calls women, the vast majority of time it has to deal with family and children. The vast majority of time is family and children. Even Eve, family and children. Even Anna, right? People talk about Anna, the prophet in the temple, right? Even the prophecy that she had about Jesus was about a child and dealing with family. You guys see what I'm saying? And I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments and later on this video, and I'm hoping they do. But when you see God's role for women, primarily, he wants women to go in and take care of the family infrastructure. Even when, I believe it was Samson, before Samson was born, the angel of the Lord, I think it was the angel of the Lord, only spoke to Samson's mom, never spoke to Samson's father, and gave her specific details on how to raise a child. You have the one situation in Judges where God calls a female judge, if you want to even say that he called her, or she just stood up herself. But in the book of Judges, it says clearly that people did whatever they wanted. In the beginning of the book, it said during that time, God wasn't God was kind of a forgotten concept. So they did whatever they wanted during that time. At the end of the book, it repeats it. During that time, we have a female judge. So I would love for women to take on more responsibilities spiritually and turn them into workhorses. I'm speaking tongue in cheek here. But at the same time, I think that we're putting more burden on women than what they're made to have.
Man,
Anybody else?
it's just crazy nowadays. When you have a conversation with a woman, it's always about what they going through, what they gotta pay, what they need to do. I don't know, man. I'm just at my wit's end with it. Like, man,
Well,
I think,
we're expecting women to go into these situations and move and function and produce like men, but they're struggling with those situations or they're not happy with it. And they can, at the end of the day, they can still always blame you or another man if it doesn't go right because they're not the ones being held accountable. We are.
And our attempt as a society to pretend this is not true is wreaking havoc on women, children, and families. I see it every day in my coaching practice and in comments on my social media posts. As a wife and mother named Christy said, quote, "I didn't know there was an option to choose differently than putting career front and center. Horrible. My understanding was that you get your career going and then you figure out what to do with kids. I wish I had had a different knowledge base back."
Now, you guys may have saw Erica or Ebony K. Williams recently. Y'all see that video?
The black 40-year-old news anchor.
Yeah, she just came out with a video.
I'm glad she went. I'm glad she made that video. My wife sent it to me. I'm glad she made that video.
Dude, she's the exact epitome of what this woman is saying. She got on that video and said, she was married and she left her husband for no reason aside from she wanted to focus on her career instead of her man.
Mm-hmm.
No reason at all she left that guy. She turns around, she picks up her career, she goes completely as far as she can go and even still moving forward. And she says, if I could talk to women who want to be married in their 20s in college, I would tell you to prioritize at some point, at some measure, finding a man and getting married. Because when you get out here, it's cold. Ain't nothing out here for you.
Yep. She said it's hard as a 40-year-old woman. And she looked good too.
Well, makeup is a very powerful asset that women have, and we don't know what's going on under all that makeup, brothers. I'm just saying.
Hey y'all, hey, why don't we ask the gentleman, the married gentleman on the line, if they told their wife today, hey, I want you to, focus on staying in the house. The ones that are working, I want you to focus on staying in the house and taking care of the kids. See how that conversation will go.
How would it go, guys?
Welcome that?
So for me, my wife, she was forced to do that during COVID, and is doing it at a higher level. Like I said, never these days with public school are we subject to having our kids in the house all week long, all for the whole year, every hour of the day, right? So she experienced it at that heightened level. And I was going to say much earlier in our conversation, I think that was something that gave her a level of appreciation for work, for them going to school. I mean, she's always appreciated public school systems, like having that time in the middle of the day where you could just go work or do whatever you need to do without the kids being around. But I think it made her appreciate it to another level. So for me, my wife, like, I think she does appreciate working, but she has an extremely flexible schedule right now, and we also have a goal in mind that her and I had talked about and trying to attempt to make happen on some investment stuff. So
at the end of the day, what you got, she's not putting in the same kind of energy in the workforce as you are.
Nope.
But she does have a work ethic.
But she has work ethic, and that's where I need it. So like that's where with Team Love, I'm all the way for like everything almost everything Team Love is talking about right now, like this whole conversation. But at the same time, like I was talking about earlier with the biological changes that women go through, we got, and what you said, Pancho, not underestimating how much women change. And that is one thing I learned like a number of years ago. And I just had to realize that women change a lot and men don't change much at all. So if we're prepared for that, then you just got to start rolling with the punches. So
how much when you on the road? How long are you going away from your wife?
Usually only a week at the most.
See, how many? I don't mean to be. How many kids you got?
I got 4.
You got 4.
Yeah.
So I got 3 kids in my house. So my daughter just left for college in August, right?
Okay.
I have to stay out way longer than you because my bills are. And let me tell you something. Before I got married. I didn't have no kids. When I had my
Mm-hmm.
first child, I wanted to give my child what I wanted, like through and through. So I made a decision. I'm like, well, I done put up with you all these years. Let me be a man and step up to the plate, because a lot of men just have random kids and they're
Yeah.
not there to be that intricate part. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's where thugs come from.
That's
So
true. Sometimes.
I said, let me be a different, because our race is looked down for that. People just got this thing that black men just like to run around and make babies and, and
It's where
take
they
off.
see you.
So
Yeah, it's
you
where
know
they
what I'm
see you,
saying?
man.
So I wanted to be a change to that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I
So
really
when you
love.
when you think about that, Albert, and you look and you check out Hanley's question,
Mhm.
what are your expectations for your wife when it comes to work?
You know what? I'm gonna be truthful and real with y'all. I told my wife from the beginning that I wanted her to be happy. My wife had a rough life. You know what I'm saying? A real
So
rough
you
life.
don't require her to work. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't from the beginning, but things changed from then to now.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has changed. Like we was talking about the influctuation and everything. And my wife is, I gotta have my nails done, my toes done, my hair done. I need
Mm.
the nice car. I need the nice
She
house.
needs
I need the
access
big
to a
TV.
lifestyle.
Women are
Right, and
expensive.
that's
They
why when
can
you
be.
said it, but hold on, when you said it, I said you're 100% correct, because that's how these women are built. Like, she likes drama TV, so when she's seeing this stuff, she's
Mm.
implementing a lot of that stuff into
Into your
our
marriage,
daily
yeah.
life. And I'm not built for that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
now, when you start doing all this extra stuff, bringing these extra expenses in, then now I'm like, hold on. You want me to pay the electric, the gas, your cell phone bill, the car breakdown, get the car fixed, pay your phone bill, pay the rent, take the kids on the
Mm-hmm.
trip, take you on a
Mm-hmm.
trip, anniversary, birthday.
Mm-hmm.
The whole
I've been too
shebang.
much. Now I'm starting to break down. Now my temperament
Yeah.
is starting to get crazy. Now I'm
Yeah.
starting to say stuff that I would never say, because I'm looking like, now I feel like you taking advantage of me.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're using me,
So
Yeah.
because I can take care of a household. Let me tell you something. That's not a problem for me, because I can do it on my own. I can pay my rent. I can pay my electric, my gas, maintain the car, keep gas in it. But women expect way too much from a man that they don't expect. I feel like this: you shouldn't expect nothing from your husband that you don't expect from yourself. If
That's a good one. I live by that. I live by that.
if you feel that I'm supposed to be cordial with my money, I'm not supposed to be loosely spending, then my wife will go to Walmart, man, and come back with some stuff, and I'll be like, what's this for?
Yeah.
Just, my wife treats Walmart like the mall. That's all I gotta say. But
Are you about to engage in blasphemy?
it's
so passing off to
it's real.
Corey, that same question from Hanley. What's the level of expectation for work on your woman?
So our household, we're both working full time. Both got really good jobs, live a great life.
That's beautiful.
She would prefer to stay home.
Say that again.
She would prefer to stay home.
One more time. Now, Hanley,
however,
what's going on here, Hanley?
I think we'd all prefer to stay home, wouldn't
yeah,
we?
right.
That's
right.
not realistic in this day and age.
Right. However, because
Maybe
of the
so.
way our life is set up and what we got going on, student loans and stuff like that, that would produce an unnecessary burden in the lifestyle that both of us have come up.
Now, I want to flip this question around. I want to flip Hanley's question around here. Would your wives give you the same amount of grace to stay home for your mental health and whatever as you have given them?
That's not even a question.
When I
Where's
get
that?
married again, I think she would.
Where's that Russell Westbrook clip at?
Hold on, man. Let me.
Y'all tripping. You're tripping.
Oh my God, man.
But I will give you guys credit. You know, some of you guys are slackers, but for the most part, y'all do take care of y'all families. Y'all do a good job, and I tip my hat off to you because we keep hearing this mantra from society that women are going to come and be more like men and share our burden of masculine responsibility. It's not true. So I give you guys, even though it's funny, I give you guys credit for not falling for the okie doke, for the banana in the tailpipe, and believing that women are going to be ruling the world and letting us men sit in the lap of luxury. So hats off for that.
Now give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
And you know what though? Just in the matter, it's crazy how fast these 4 years done blew by. I went from being like that, being on the road for a week and going home and everything was still beautiful, to now I'm out 3 weeks at a time.
Well,
Consistently.
that's part of the reason. Part of that is the economy too. You know what I mean?
And it's stress.
Are you guys both driving right now? Oh, he's gone.
I'm home. I'm just using it as an office right now.
Oh, okay. Y'all both look like y'all driving. Let's jump on to this clip. She's got some really good stuff here, guys. If y'all want to go off topic and just talk in general, we can do that too.
Then, end quote. American women and men, for that matter, are indeed overdue for a different knowledge base. So here it is. Men and women are not interchangeable. They may both be capable of doing the same things, but that doesn't mean they want to. And it doesn't mean they want to do so with equal fervor.
Your wives want to sit and they have a different mentality about this.
Sexes were schooled in the idea that they're essentially the same. They didn't foresee that mom would want to be with her baby, and they therefore made financial decisions on the assumption that she'd always be employed. And the shock of how wrong their assumption was has become a sore spot in many marriages today, since couples are now dependent on mom's income.
There we go.
To make
that chart you showed us earlier.
It's a real problem.
Yeah.
And many mothers who want to stay home now have to convince their husbands to agree to their doing so.
I gotta say this, man.
Hold on.
We can't blame men for not being higher earners, although they do need to become higher earners and more successful than they are currently, because they have definitely taken a step back. But that's because for decades they've been conditioned to believe that women want to be their own providers.
Mm-hmm.
And so
we confused. Go ahead, Albert.
When my wife, see, this come back to a thing. I don't know if a woman could handle being an at-wife home. When my son was born, listen, when my
being a wife at home, you saying they couldn't handle it?
I don't think so, because it made my wife lazy. So when she was pregnant with my son, I did everything. Listen, I catered. I had a crazy job. I'm talking about the money was ridiculous. So it made me a little bit more relaxed because I didn't have to worry about the bills. I was living in Michigan at the time. I bought a little house. Everything was smooth, but it started bringing the first round of problems into my marriage.
She got lazy. That's the same thing, Hanley. Maybe Hanley's right. We gotta crack the whip on these women and keep them working.
Yeah, she got lazy because listen, she got access to a vehicle, she got access to money. So
she
this
got
is what
access
she did.
To Young and the Restless.
Man, listen, forget that. Yep. She was at this family member house every day. This family member house every day.
Is that what's really going on, Hanley? You want to keep the women working so they don't become busybodies?
No virtuous woman is going to have me working until I break my back without doing something. If you got a good woman in your life, she will not allow you to work yourself to death. She would get that part-time
I think you just
job.
told me I ain't got no good woman.
Look, it was Team Love earlier.
She worked, but she cuffing that money.
Look, earlier
she cuffing that money.
Workshop. The Out of Mind is Devil's Workshop, right? That's what you said earlier, Team Love.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's what I was trying to come up with. Appreciate that.
Yeah. No, that's especially for women. Like they sit at home, just like Punch said, they gonna want to be watching the new version of the soap operas all day long, infusing all this negativity into the relationship and all of that.
These modern women already want to be what they see on TV. They want to see. They want to be a housewife, or you pick the state or the city. That's really what they want, and that's society teaching women like, yeah, go ahead and sit back and don't do nothing. No, sir, not the woman I want.
Yeah.
Y'all see what I'm doing? I'm a single father, so I'm in
y'all
BJ's.
Know these women are hardworking. They're dedicated. Nobody's perfect. Y'all going too hard. Y'all going too hard in on these women right now.
I gotta be honest with you, man. Every time I hear that, every time you play that video, I just want to get out the world's smallest violin because that woman makes me sick. She's given every no good woman an opportunity to pack up their
Did y'all
emotions
not
and
hear me
jump
say
into
that?
that boat.
Did
And
y'all
jump
not
into
hear
that
me
boat.
say that? I said, why does
The
it feel
video,
like
the video that you're
America
playing.
is catering to these women, man?
Absolutely not.
It's like
The
it just
video
feel like
that you're
everybody
playing.
is just on their side about everything, man. It's like
That's
they're
right.
making an excuse for them.
And any regular woman, a virtuous
I
woman,
want to see.
is not gonna jump on the bandwagon. She's gonna be worried about what can I do to support my man.
Even if she is staying home, she's still
Hey,
gonna
man,
find
what was
That's a
that guy
fact.
name?
That's
Hey,
a fact.
what was the Samuel guy last name that passed away, man?
Kevin Samuels.
Man, I miss him so bad, man. You know, I'm dead serious, man. I used to look. What's crazy, y'all? I was up on the late night one night, and one of his videos just popped up on me, and I got to watching it, and I never stopped watching him.
Man,
Because
women
he had one of
hated
the
that
most.
dude.
Listen,
Women
but he
hated that
told the
dude.
truth.
They hated
Hey,
that dude.
hey, but look, the women who saw his clips hated him. You know, like he would brag about how many women and men he would have calling in, like he helping them with relationship advice and everything. You know, there was a whole nother side to him.
If they're being honest with themselves, if it's a man and a woman, a husband and a wife that can communicate and are building together, anything is possible. They keep God first, anything is possible. But listen, y'all, I'm 45 years young. All right. I'm out here looking for my wife every single day, but I got to sift through the trash. There's a bunch of trash out here. A bunch.
Traffic out here.
It is.
Straight traffic out here.
Trash.
So as we look at all this, what do we feel? I want everybody to give a succinct answer, Albert, not talk all day, but give me a real basic answer as to why women are struggling, because she's saying that they're acting too much like men and the media's got them bamboozled.
That ain't what it is.
Everybody give me a simple explanation. We've been talking this about an hour and a half, 2 hours. How can we help our sisters? We trying to get Hanley married. What do we got to tell his future wife to get him squared away? What are women doing that's causing them to struggle? Corey, go ahead.
They're not listening.
They're hard-headed.
It's deeper than that, right? But you could listen to this panel or any other plethora of
platform.
Your platforms, right, that are out now because of the current thing with men that are blatantly telling women exactly what it is that we want, exactly what it is that we need from them, and they refuse to listen.
They don't care. I'll jump on that, Corey.
Right.
I don't really think women care about our opinion.
They don't.
I'm convinced of that.
A good wife does, though. A good wife does. A good wife does.
I think that women get the reputation of being empathetic and empathizing, but when it comes down to men and their struggles, I don't think women have the ability to empathize with a man's struggles. You go to a woman and you tell her that you're having an issue with something emotional. You go to a woman and tell her that you're working too hard to provide. Where's that conversation going to end? I don't think that women really care about what men's struggles are.
Right.
That being the case, and I may be. Go ahead, Corey.
I'm sorry, but they care about what we can do, what we can provide, what we bring to the table.
Us meeting an
I don't want
expectation.
no broke man. I ain't messing with a man if he ain't got this, and then half of them ain't got nothing themselves.
I love to jump on. I love to jump on too because my point is piggybacking right off of that is what they prefer basically.
How do we solve the struggling issue with women?
I think it is for me. The short version is put duty over preference. If they put duty over preference, then they just look at the world a different way. And that's like before you have a baby, right? I mentioned that earlier. They have a baby and then they understand duty first and then preference. Before you have a baby, put duty over preference. And then I'm sorry, it was another thing I had. I just lost it. But that was the main point I had right there.
Be a virtuous woman. Be a virtuous woman. Most young women are going to school to learn a trade, to take care of themselves until they meet that protector, provider, prophet, and priest.
What if all that education and that stuff is putting them more in debt?
It is. We know that for a fact.
Be a woman. Be a woman and quit trying to be a man.
Yeah.
A man
I was
is a man. If it walk like a duck and it talk like a duck, it's a duck. Be a
it's a duck.
man. Let him.
Look, I was
Okay.
going. That was the second point that I had
Serious
actually. It
that.
was about vetting.
Because a
Is
real
vetting
woman
who
know
you
they
get your
place.
info from. Like I think women definitely have to vet where they get their information from. Prime
Mm-hmm.
example, you got mom and dad who didn't go to college telling you, oh, you got to go to college. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna make sure you go to college. And it's like it's in good faith, but this looks like it's part of why our community is struggling. Vet who you get your information from. They telling me to
Well,
do this. Should I listen to them? Is it that simple? Did they do this? Do they have the blueprint for me? You see what I
well, this
mean?
is this is what happened, and this is important for us to consider why our women are struggling, why we're having this disconnect. As men, we were told by our fathers, our grandfathers, continue to work hard and be a great provider and protector. And then you will be appreciated also by your wife when you do that. That's your side of the contract. But our wives, our women, our cousins, our female side of the house, they were told by their grandmothers and in many cases their moms, you don't want to be dependent on a man. Go out and get your education and you become the man. They broke their side of the contract by becoming something different than what the men were being told what they were supposed to do. So, assuming men and women are at their best, men are providers, women are nurturers. The women have been told to be more of a provider than nurturers. And then when these two come together, the women don't have the skills to do a lot of the things that the best of us are requiring of them. So, Rob, what do you got for us?
I think for a woman to be my benefit. Be there to
I'm
benefit
talking
me.
about not for you, but to keep them from struggling. So you saying that the only way they can keep from struggling is by serving you?
No, not by me. By being ready to be the benefit of a man.
Okay.
Prime example, when I was married, I made $70,000 less than my wife. 70,000 less. I paid all the bills.
That's
I
deep.
paid all the rent, paid all the bills.
She still required you to provide.
Who's that talking?
Nope. She had one job or two jobs. Keep the house clean, make the house a home, buy groceries, cook
I don't mean to
groceries.
interrupt. Who talking?
That's Rob.
Rob. Okay.
Go out, get groceries and cook. And you know what? Shop till you drop. But your one thing, when you go out shop till you drop, bring me something back. So while I was paying all the bills in the house, I was never hungry. My house always was clean, always looked good, and I always had a nice outfit on. And so that was her job. She did her job. I did my job. She benefited me, and we were good until certain things happened.
But didn't she struggle because she worked harder than you, or did she just make more money doing less work than you?
She was never tired.
So she just was one of these super women.
When she got done working, it could go down from 5 to 9. Didn't matter. She was supposed to do. She benefited me, and during that time when everything was good, it was great.
So you're saying that for women to not get into this loop of struggling, they have to really focus on what?
They have to focus on being the man's benefit. Because if you benefit me, if you learn how to help me and be beneficial to me, then your life is going to be that much easier.
Okay. So she's less likely to struggle because she has a man to take care of her.
I want to comment on that too.
All right, you're up next, Albert.
All right. I'm just gonna be all the way real because this last couple of years been a journey for me. Like far as my relationship with Jesus, and I have an understanding today that I didn't have. I think my entire life. And
Amen.
any woman that has a man of God, that's a real man of God, and she's not following him, I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all somebody said this earlier. I can't quote which one of y'all said it, but I think it was Hanley that God gotta be at the top of it. You know, you got to have God because God tells us what we need to know and how our relationship is supposed to be and what we need to build a prominent relationship in the Bible. It tells us there. And if two people are not coming together, I just told my wife this. Like, if you want to fix our marriage, the only way our marriage is going to be fixed is with God. Ain't nothing else gonna fix it. I can hit the lottery, I can hit the Powerball for 925 million and they gonna fix it.
So are you saying that for a woman to avoid the life of struggle that we're seeing in modern
She
women?
need to get right with God, because if she a godly woman, she knows better. She knows the instruction of the Lord, because he tells you right there in basic instructions on what to do. Far as every aspect, he tells us in basic instructions that the world was going to be the way it's going to be today, and it's going to get worse. He tell us everything that we need to know. And see, that's where I was slowing down in life, because I knew these things from just dibbling and dabbling in the book. It was getting so powerful to me that I was running from it. Then I'm like, man, this can't be. And then I started seeing things. That's what I told you, because when I started having my transition, it was more spiritual transition for me, because I got to read in my Bible a little bit more and a little bit harder. I think the last time I was in prison, I'll tell somebody I was in solitary confinement for 13 months. And I think I was in there for 4 months losing my mind. And a cadre came through and slid a Bible under my door. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. That Bible sat at the end of my bed for another month. I woke up out of dead sleep one night and went to the door. They always shut the lights down at night, and I started reading that Bible. And I'm gonna tell you something. It did something to me, and it's been takeoff ever since. When I gave God real acknowledgement, when I really gave him acknowledgement, because I acknowledged myself and I acknowledged people in the streets and people that I was around. When that word is, I'm telling you, it's a powerful thing. That's all we need in life is God, man. It's a devil war going on out here. It's a war of the mind. It's a war of the spirit. Everything, bro. We see it. They putting it on TV. Men is being women, trying to it is the only thing we could do, bro, to change anything is that book.
Well, I will say this, and I really appreciate you guys' inputs on that. Let me give y'all a round of applause. For myself, why are women struggling? How can we as men help and support them throughout this struggle? It's a very layered and a very detailed issue that we're seeing. I honestly believe that most women, not all women, are struggling because they're taking on too many masculine burdens of performance. I think that a lot of women have fear that they won't be. The thing that women want the most is to be provided for and to be secure in what they have, to be protected. And they've been told that they can't depend on a man to do that. And a lot of them because they haven't had a father to do it for them. So many women are becoming the man that they want in their life. And that's causing a situation where taking on that masculine energy is just burning them down. It's just breaking their hearts, breaking their psychological makeup. I think that the only way to get beyond that is, like Albert said, women have to focus on not only worshiping God, but also seeing the importance of men in their life. I also believe, just like Hanley said, God is the key to all this. And also what Rob said, we have to create a situation where women feel comfortable to be the women that they need to be. We have to create that environment. And Corey mentioned that also. So we as men have to create a safe environment, but we also can't just bring in any, scallywag off the streets. At the end of the day, women want to be provided for and protected, and they have to trust men to be a part of that process, and they have to make that decision early in their life before they go too far down that road with college and education and all this debt and everything else and these jobs before it's too late. And that's how I feel about that. Thoughts on that, guys?
We are what we eat. We are what we put into our body. We are. If I just told.
What do you mean by that?
When you listen to rap music, it tarnishes your spirit. It gives you those thoughts and those feelings of rage and anger. Listen, when I wake up in the morning,
women are struggling because they're listening to Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and all this ridiculous
drama TV got them fighting girls. I notice one thing. When I wake up in the morning, I do my pre-trip. Before I listen, y'all, as soon as I get up, I got my bottle of water, my toothbrush, my toothpaste. I throw Kurt Franklin radio on. It puts me in such a vibrant mood. Like somebody could just run by me and do something stupid, and the first thing that come to my mind is a peace offering to a dumb situation. I didn't used to be like that. My first be, oh, you dumb, it's what we put into our spirit is what we're gonna get out of our body. I
Mm.
truly believe that.
Well, gents, we are rounding the corner at 9:30. We've been at it for 2 hours, about a half hour longer than we expected. But these are great conversations. We've been a little bit cavalier and jokey about a lot of this stuff, but I think that we all are suffering, whether directly or indirectly, with the struggles that women are going through. Hanley, as always, you are the most optimistic, and nobody cares more about women struggling than you, especially when you make them struggle more by putting them to work. You know, you want to close us out in prayer?
Yes, sir. It'd be an honor. Father God, God bless all the men that are on this call. The more we get together, the more that we all can see that we're not on our journey alone. There's other men out here going through the same thing, going through the same struggles, and going through the same blessings as well. Thank you for the opportunity for us to get together, to fellowship tonight. And every night that we get together and we get to broaden our spirits, our spiritual journeys, and just sharpen each other and build each other, so that when we go back to our wives and we go back to our girlfriends and we try to make a life with these people, it's just more and more blessings being poured on and more lessons being learned, and life getting better, and we live our life according to you and the promises that you have for us. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thanks, guys, for coming out. We're going to play a quick commercial at the end, but I really appreciate you guys for your contributions. Hopefully we can fix the world, one debate at a time. Thanks, guys. What's your status on the apparatus? I'm Puncho.
Hey, and I'm
God
BK,
bless.
man. We just want to, invite you, if you don't know Christ as your personal savior, this is an opportunity now. You don't know what tomorrow holds. So we just want to, pray with you and pray for you, that you get to know him as your personal savior.
If you feel compelled by the Holy Spirit to accept Christ as your savior, I want you to say this prayer. Father, please forgive me of all my sins. I acknowledge and I believe that your son Jesus rose from the dead and that he will return. I also pray that I will dedicate my life to him 100%. He will be my master from now on. I will not be mastered by sin. Father, I also pray that you show me the direction I need to go in my life and to give me a purpose and give me a good church home and make me a part of your program. Make me a part of your body. Help me to make pizza with you, Lord. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. If you say that prayer, we want you to get connected to a good Bible-believing church and let us know. Send us a DM or email or whatever the case may be. We really appreciate what you've done. And thank you for your support. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the other side in heaven. Catch you later.
Amen.